What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What I Watched, this time covering everything that I watched in the month of June of 2023. All right, starting off the month, I watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I had a blast with. It's not the animated film that I think about the most from this year, so we'll talk about that later. I do think I will end up purchasing the film. I don't know if I own Into the Spider-Verse, but I definitely like Into the Spider-Verse more. Still, I'll say that, definitely because it's just not a complete film, and I'm excited to see where the film kind of, where this trilogy ends in whatever Beyond the Spider-Verse, whatever it's called. So yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, it was fun, it was a blast, and I will rewatch. Next up is The Boogeyman, which I did have a blast with in the theaters. I don't think it's something I will rewatch, because this was Rob Savage, who did Host and Dashcam. I rewatched his films leading up to this, or I guess didn't rewatch, watched them for the first time, and I really loved Host. I did not care for Dashcam, and I did like The Boogeyman a lot. There was just some really fun elements to the film. It's not totally entirely new, but I thought it was really well done for the most part. And as of now, I would say my ranking of Rob Savage's films would be Host, The Boogeyman, then Dashcam. After that, I watched Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. I remember loving Insidious, the first one, in theaters. Saw it with my dad and my sister. That title card, I remember scaring the shit out of all three of us. And yeah, it was fun on rewatch. I don't like the second one as much as I did growing up. I used to love that sequel. I don't love it as much, but it's still really well done for a sequel that I really truly thought, where could you kind of go with the sequel to the first one? But it was really well done. I don't think they needed the third or the fourth, and I guess I haven't seen the fifth one, so I can't say anything about that. But moving on, Mission Impossible 3 and then Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Those two films are so completely different. I love Mission Impossible 3. I really enjoy Ghost Protocol, but I will say the last 30-40 minutes kind of slow down for me. But there's some elements from 3 that are in the final moments of Ghost Protocol that really make me enjoy that film. I guess I'll spoil it now. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But seeing Ethan's wife be in Ghost Protocol in the very end was just so satisfying. Back in Seattle, I loved that. I loved Mission Impossible 3 growing up, so I believe Mission Impossible 3, let's check what year that came out. That was 2006. So then from 2006 to 2011, I watched Mission Impossible 3 all the time, over and over and over, and then seeing the characters come back just made me really happy. So I don't like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol as much as 3, but it's still really enjoyable. After that, I guess I could have tied this in earlier, but we got Mission Impossible. We got Insidious Chapter 3, which I have to say, I remember not caring much for this film when it first released. I remember where I watched it. I watched it in my living room on a weird fold-out couch with a bunch of friends at 4 in the morning, and a bunch of us fell asleep, and I think I was one of them. Yeah, because I think it was a Halloween get together, and we watched a bunch of other Halloween films, and then this was kind of the last one. And I remember making it 30-40 minutes into it and being kind of okay with it. Just didn't hit right, and it still doesn't. So yeah, that was Insidious Chapter 3. After that, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and then Mission Impossible Fallout. Actually, I'm not going to say too much about these because, again, I do have reviews for the Mission Impossible franchise coming out. They're all short reviews. They're all filmed. I just have to edit them. And my ranking of the entire franchise, I will say, is going to surprise some people. So Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and Fallout, those both rank in very different places on my list. So that will either give you a big hint or completely throw you off as to what my opinions are on the Mission Impossible franchise. So moving on, we got The Haunted Mansion from 2003. I can't really say anything else about this other than I enjoyed it as a kid, and I mean probably when I was 5, 6, 7, I didn't watch it much, and trying to watch it now, I only made it 15. I don't think it hit the 20-minute mark, and then I was I'm just not into this. It does not hold up. All right, after that, watch The Equalizer leading up to The Equalizer 3, which again, this is a solid action film. I like Denzel Washington, and the action set pieces are really well done. After that, The Exorcist. This was a very first time watch. Yeah, I don't know how I've gone my entire life without seeing The Exorcist. And of course, it's not as scary as, everyone makes it out to be, but you can't compare it to now. You can't, you got to think about when it was released and what they had to compare it to, which wasn't the amount of film that we have now. They didn't have social media. So I totally get why it's scary. And there are a lot of good creepy bits, and I really do like the ending of the film. I really do like it. But like Jaws, which I love, I don't think it should have been a franchise, and I'll explain that more when I talk about the other Exorcist entries. But yeah, moving on, we got Fright Night from 2011, which, if you've seen the original, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it still. I don't know why. I thought I had seen it going into the 2011 reboot remake. You know, I thought I rewatched, or I thought I watched it going into it, but I guess I haven't, because I looked at the trailer, I looked at the poster, and I'm like, I have not seen the original. So I do need to watch the original. I do like the 2011 one because I like Imogen Poots. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. She's fantastic, as well as, oh, dang it, I'm forgetting his name, and that sucks. Anton Yelchin, who he's passed away now, but he was a fantastic actor, and Green Room was fantastic, one of my favorite movies. So I did like Fright Night 2011. It's a fun watch. Next up, we got Boxcar Bertha. This is one of Martin Scorsese's very first films, and this has David Carradine, I believe. David Carradine and Barbara Hershey. I guess I don't really know Barbara Hershey, but I know David Carradine. No, I guess I recognize Barbara Hershey. But David Carradine and Barbara Hershey, they're fantastic in the film. It's a bit long, but it's a really well-made story. And some of the cinematography specifically really was eye-catching just for the time. It's just like a lot of the times I was thinking, how did they do that back in 1972? Next up, we got Bambi, released in 1942. It's Bambi. It's cute. It's fun. It's sad. It's not as sad as I remember it being, probably just because as a kid you're so much more emotional, but maybe I'm just heartless now. All right, next up we watch Venom Let There Be Carnage, which is not a good movie. I will say I think I like it more than the first, simply because you can tell the difference between the ooze that is Venom and Carnage. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Sony superheroes, whatever they're doing. Next up, we watched Black Mirror, Joan is Awful, and this was fantastic. I thought season 6 of Black Mirror was really well done, and again, I do have a short ranking of every episode from Black Mirror Season 6 coming out shortly as well. Again, it's already filmed, just got to edit it, so stay tuned for that. Next up, we'll watch The Darjeeling Limited for the very first time. This is another Wes Anderson film leading up to the release of Asteroid City. I was watching all of his films. I do have reviews out for every single one of his films, so if you want to know a little bit more about my thoughts on each of his films, go watch those shorts. There is a playlist on my channel. Just go check that out. I really do think this is one of my favorite Wes Anderson films he's ever made. Next, after that, we got Fast X, which, again, just like Fast 9, I don't know if it was this episode or last, but I did not watch. I skimmed through it. I can't remember the last Fast and Furious that I actually watched all the way through. I want to say it was, it was the one with the last one with Paul Walker. Yeah, I can't even say anything about Fast X because I don't remember it. All I remember is me skimming through and then seeing Jason Momoa either like play with the guy's thumbs or his eyes, or like while they were dead. I don't remember. But yeah, he was weird and kooky, and Vin Diesel riding down a dam that's on fire explode. Like, it's just garbage. Next up, I watched The Flash, which I have to say I did enjoy in theaters, but immediately rewatching it or immediately thinking about it, I'm like, why did I even sit through that? I guess I should say I enjoyed moments of it throughout in the theaters, but there was certain times where I was like, do I just get up and go? Because I'm like, I just didn't care. Like, I knew I was going to see it eventually, but I don't know. I didn't care. Flash is not good. The CGI is not good. And the fact that you try and tell that story as the very first Flash film ever is just so awful. It's so stupid. Yeah, moving on. All right, I guess we'll combine these next ones. We got Black Mirror, Lock Henry, Beyond the Sea, Maisie Day, and Demon 79, which are all fantastic. And again, I have a ranking of the season 6 episodes coming out shortly. After that, watch Mamma Mia from 2008. I'm not a fan of this film, but my girlfriend really likes it, so Mamma Mia. The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001. This might possibly be my favorite still Wes Anderson film that he's ever made. I don't know if I actually did my ranking of it or if I just did the reviews of all of his films, but again, go check out my review. After that, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990, which I do have a giant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video coming out soon. Hopefully, I gotta finish it. It's extremely long right now. I think it's like 30-40 minutes. I gotta edit it down to hopefully like 20, but TMNT 1990 is fantastic. I love this film, and I loved it as a kid. Moving on, we got Troll Hunter from 2010. This was Andre Ovredal, or Uvredal. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He did this year's Last Voyage of the Demeter, and I was watching his films leading up to that. All right, and Asteroid City. Finally getting to it again. Like I said before, I didn't totally love it when I first came out of it. I had a total blast with it, but I just wasn't sold totally. But upon rewatch, I've just loved it more and more and more. And then I guess we'll say Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3, and 4 leading up to 5, which I just did my ranking of all 5 Indiana Jones films. So go watch that. It's only a minute and a half long if you want to know my quick thoughts and ranking of the entire franchise. And then, sorry about that beeping, but then we finished the month with Secret Invasion, which was one of the most disappointing Marvel shows they've ever made. It was so predictable. It was poorly paced. The CGI was bad. The final episode, especially, Marvel just needs to chill. They need to chill and take it slow like they just did the first 10 years. So that's everything that I watched in the month of June. Stick around. I'm going to go film another episode for what I watched in the month of July 2023. Talk to you guys later. Peace.